Hundreds of National Guard troops will be heading to the U.S.-Mexican border on August 1st. This announcement is coming from the Obama administration. It came through this week. Back in May, President Obama pledged that he would send up to 1,200 troops to the border. But is this enough to start securing the area? California Congressman Bilbray is the chairman of the Immigration Reform Caucus, and he joins me now. Congressman, welcome. Good to have you here this morning.
Great to be with you.
You know, we're learning the word from Homeland Security head Janet Napolitano is that hundreds of additional border agents are going down there. They're going to be in the Arizona outback and operate inspection stations. There's a new one being opened in Ajo and also more support to Douglas. What do you think of these specific moves as part of this operation?
Well, look, this kind of reminds me of BP saying, don't worry, we're making more effort as the leaks kept springing around, and we're seeing the same thing along the border. My real reaction is the fact that the administration knows that Arizona is a symptom of the problem, is a victim of the problem, but it's not the source of the problem. And the problem is the illegal employment all over the country. And if they really want to secure the border and secure Arizona, they would be hiring thousands of more ICE agents and raiding and busting the employers who are enticing people to come here. And they would be doing something they're not doing now, and that is sending illegal immigrants back home. Right now, the administration has a policy of not detaining any illegals in workplace enforcement. And if you sent people home, they would go home with a message that, hey, guys, California, Texas, Colorado, the entire American country now is not employing people that are illegally in the country. And people would stop crossing the border if they did that. So let me just tell you, again, it is the rest of the country where we need enforcement first. And once you've done that, Arizona will see the benefits.
You know, but Congressman, what we've heard a lot of is secure the border first. And I would imagine that the administration would want to impress that they, you know, this is an added effort to that. They're adding 100 ICE agents down there. You can tell me what you think of that number. 300 Border Patrol agents and port inspectors to the Tucson sector, which has been a very difficult sector of this. So, you know, they might argue to you know, everybody's screaming about securing the border first. So that's part of what this effort is.
Listen to the Border Patrol Association. They will tell you, the Border Patrol representative, T.J. Bonner, will tell you, if you want to secure the border, then what you need to do is hire 3 times more ICE agents than Border Patrol, because if you want to secure the border, you've got to shut down the illegal employment in the interior of the United States. So it's not coming from me. It's from the men and women that know how to win this battle, and they're saying you are putting on a big show at the border, but you're not doing the job in the interior enforcement. Shut down the illegal employers, and you'll see the flow across the border reduce substantially, and then you can manage the problem in Arizona, just as you saw it in California. Remember, those of us in San Diego were attacked for wanting to build a fence and bringing the Border Patrol agents in. You see how secure our borders are in San Diego, that it's pushed the problem in Arizona. But the fact is, we'll continue to be treating the symptoms because it's politically easier than telling our buddies who are hiring the illegals, you can't do it anymore.
I hear what you're saying. You know, there continues to be this sort of pervasive situation, I think is fair to say, that the people in the border area seem to think there's a bigger problem than the people in Washington do. And we haven't seen a lot of presence, a lot of attention to this issue from the administration in the form of a visit by the president or, you know, real time spent there by the Homeland Security Chief, Janet Napolitano. Is there any effort, you know, any sign that you might get a little bit more personal attention in that regard?
Well, look, I have very little hope that anybody from Chicago really understands how it is along the frontera like we do. We grow, you know, look, I've grown up with rescuing people when they were drowning that were illegal. We've seen them die and slaughtered on our highways. So Chicago's one thing. But Napolitano, she should know better. She knows what's going on. She was there when the beginning of the flow of the illegals were moving from San Diego and Arizona. She should know enough to be able to stand up to this president and the White House and say, look, we're victims along the border because of the lack of action on the interior. And the employers in Chicago have got to be busted for hiring illegals. And only when you're brave enough to do that, Mr. President, can you talk about securing the border. Because without securing the workplace and shutting down the illegal employers, you're constantly going to have illegal immigrants coming up to fill those jobs.
All right. Well, Congressman Bilbray, nobody can dispute the fact that you have personal and front-line experience with all of this. So we thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today, sir.
God bless you. Take care.
Congressman Brian Bilbray, thank you.
Right about 19 minutes past the hour now, Martha. Front page news for a second day now. The U.S. government relying on private contractors more and more for sensitive intelligence work. Is this a smart move to keep America safe? Is it a smart move to print the information? Talk a lawmaker on the Intel Committee on that.
And then there's this. A man's life saved by the pizza guy. But this is no ordinary pizza guy.
He had him revived. The other paramedics came and took over and said if it wouldn't have been for the pizza guy, who I found out later, Chris, George would have died.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does a former drill sergeant make a terrible therapist?
And that's why yellow makes me sad, I think.
That's interesting. You know what makes me sad? You do! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwag!